Today we're going to have a look at 6 mysterious North Koreans that became South Africans. But before we do that, I would like to thank all my subscribers. I very much appreciate your support. Now, why would a North Korean would like to have a South African passport? Well, a North Korean passport gives you free access to 13 countries. Most of them are Bermuda, Pitcairn Islands, islands where you hide money. When you have a South African passport, you can travel visa-free to 103 countries. A South African passport is much better. Now, how do you become a South African? Well, the easy way is you get married. But this might not be so easy for North Korean people. So what you do is you either find a wife or you buy a wedding certificate. It is relatively easy to buy a wedding certificate. If you pay the right amount, there will be people that will get you a marriage certificate. They will put on the name of a woman. They get signatures, they get the stamps, and with that paper, you can become a South African citizen. And with a South African citizenship, you can get a South African passport. Currently, there are over 7,000 cases of women that got married without their knowledge to a foreign man, so that these foreign men could become South Africans. It has been discovered that it typically costs between 10,000 and 50,000 rand, and that's either as a one-off payment or sometimes South African nationals get 2,000 rand per day. Then you actually will show up at the wedding. But in most cases, people just pay a set amount, and then there are some people in Home Affairs that will fill in the papers, put on the stamps, and take care of all the paperwork. And just in case you're wondering, 10,000 rand is roughly 725 US dollars. Now, where do these people come from? Most come from Egypt, China, Pakistan, India, and of course, really many African countries. But I heard about this from a friend who turned out to be married or has been married for 20 years without her knowledge. And so I started looking into this, and I've been digging in it for several months. And I found out that 6 of them are from the DPRK. And this made me wonder why. But before we continue, if there's anybody here that is from South Africa and would like to know if they are married, you can send an SMS to 32551 with your identity number, and then you get a message back saying you are unmarried or you are married and has been married for this many years. After 2013, it became a bit more complicated. Now you have to stay for 8 years in South Africa. However, if you pay enough, then people at Home Affairs can backdate your papers. Divorce is not possible because both parties have to come to the divorce, and that means that women that would like to get a divorce, they will have to advertise in national newspapers, and they will have to handle the legal costs. And the consequences for many of these women is that they cannot open bank accounts because their surname has changed and they need a signature of their husband. And they can't have ID papers, and they can't register the children they might have. Now, where are these 6? They're not in South Africa, but they could be because it's very difficult to check. They might be back in the DPRK, but most likely they are in some other African countries because they can work there very easy. It's not suspicious if you are a South African. Are they spies? Well, we don't know. What we do know is that nobody can leave the DPRK without consent. And we also know they all have the same surname. And they're all married in one South African province. And their wives obviously didn't know they got married. Now, did I pay for it? Yes, I paid a little bit because I wanted to be absolutely sure that the information was correct. So I contacted a second person that worked for Home Affairs, and they wanted some money, and they did some searches for me. And the results came back the same surname. I do not put the surname here because, like I said, I can't prove they are spies. I just think it's extremely suspicious that 6 North Koreans come to South Africa to get fake marriage certificates and leave with South African passports. thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I very much appreciate that. And if you have subscribed, thanks for subscribing.